Oh, sorry. I was just looking up at the sky here in my basement. I heard that Winston is landing in Paris for Unleashed tomorrow, and I wanted to see him. So can't wait to see what you've got up your sleeve there, smart recruiters. Anyways, let's jump into the HR weather. And this week we've got America has been treading some rough waters because I think they're missing the boat when it comes to paid family leaves. To give you some context here, the US is the only high income nation in the world that doesn't mandate paid family leave. There is the Family and Medical Leave Act that covers around 12 weeks, which is just not enough and is only for government workers. I want to give you some contrast here. In Canada, we have a national paid parental leave that covers up to 18 months. And as a dad of three little girls, thank God, it's been a godsend. So, why is paid family leave important? I think we've all seen the stats that are showing that we're just not having enough babies to cover the aging population. And we're definitely not helping this by forcing new mothers in the workforce right away. Then, if you compound that with just a jam packed childcare situation, it's a recipe for disaster. There's also a recent survey that shows that 82% of Americans support paid family leave. There should be enough political will to bring up the American standards to the rest of the world in supporting women and families. Because if you're going to say that women and families are important in the workforce, your policies better support that. So, overall, I'm hoping for a better forecast for working women and families. That's the HR weather. Let's get back to the panel. So, Danielle, I want to get your take first, and Joel, I'll go to you as the dad of three kids as well. But, Danielle, what's your take here?
I've been talking a little bit more about this in my circles because I'm 26 and
Yeah.
I'm not engaged. I'm not in a relationship. But a lot of my friends are, and so the conversation. I also have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It impacts 10%, probably more, of all women
Mm,
in the United States. And it essentially makes you prone to being having potentially challenges to have children. And so
absolutely.
I have another close friend who has another condition similar, and so we find ourselves having these conversations about fertility. And what's interesting is that the conversations amongst women, and maybe it's happening amongst young men as well, but they're happening a lot earlier than employers maybe think they are, right? I'm 26. I'm probably, if I'm lucky, 8 years out from having kids, at the very minimum. And I think that the fact that I'm having this conversation means other people are as well, and it's something that employers should be mindful of. And it doesn't just impact like the family and paid leave and all that, but it also is about work life balance. And does this company support flexible work? Do they support working mothers in that way, right? Like childcare has never been harder to find, it's never been more expensive. It's a huge, political issue this year. And so I think that companies that are proactively thinking about these things and not reactively doing so are in the running to be, talent magnets, in my opinion, for a lot of women specifically, but also men who definitely know that they want to start families.
Should this be let to companies or to the government to potentially mandate this?
I feel like in a perfect world, it would be the government, but I feel like I'm not equipped to really answer that question.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Joel? You have three kids. I know childcare. You had a recent post talking about the challenges of childcare.
Yeah.
What's your take?
Yeah, look, I think, oh, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Alright, cool, cool. Yeah, yeah, look, I think it's a similar issue as, like, the whole remote work conversation, right? There's other things in life that matter. There's flexibility, there's family, there's so much outside of work, and I think to me, it's kind of in line with that issue and doing what's best for your employees. So I definitely think that like it's sad that in the U.S. we are so low when it comes to this. I also think it could contribute to trends like, there's a lot of what dual income, no kids, like people who I see on social media, and it's almost like I see a lot of this content around where it's like um, people almost like flexing like they don't have kids because then they have more income, and then everyone's
Yeah.
commenting on that. And but I think when you look at that, it's having kids, it's already a big huge sacrifice, right, for both people, right? Because even as a dad, like you're having to wake up early, you're having to do things, your focus isn't going to be there. And I think it's like doing right by your people. So to me, I think companies should be the one pursuing this, and it's looking and going like, hey, are we doing right by people that want to have children? Um, at the same time, I think that another challenge could come up where like if you don't have kids, then like do you feel like bitter that somebody who does have kids isn't able to take off? And I think if that is how you're feeling, um, I don't know, maybe that's like an individual thing. So I think it's really complex, right? It's a
Yeah.
complex thing, but I think either way, it's sad that we're low on the list, and I could easily be a contributor to why maybe more people don't have kids. That on top of things being really expensive and not being able to find
Mhm.
childcare, all of those issues which are really relevant as well. And it kind of ties into the work, the return office. That was one of the things that was brought up is childcare is hard to find. So when
Yeah.
companies are just going, "Hey, come back to the office,"
Yeah.
it's not always like that easy. And I know that video I did recently about, I think it was Dell, they literally are making parents take PTO to take care of their kids. Like that to me, that is just that's not the right way to handle the situation. And you can't say on your culture page, "We care about you as a person," if you're gonna say, "Hey, if you can't find childcare, take some PTO." So that's my thoughts on that.
Well, I think the stats are so alarming of we're just not having enough kids, and we're definitely not doing anything to incentivize it or make it easier. Like, and I get to your point, like not everyone's gonna have kids, and I definitely don't want to bring my personal views on it, but it is a fact that we need more kids to sustain the population that we need and keep North America. This is a challenge across many different regions. And I know in Japan, this is a huge challenge, but can't we do something to make it easier for folks to have families? Because that's all we talk about, right? The importance of family. Like, if you ask we had Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday, and everyone thanked their family, right? It's the first thing that you automatically come to. But when you have policies that are definitely anti family, you can't say that family and working women are important to you, because I can't imagine. Like, I've seen my wife have three babies, and for her to go back to work a month after is absolutely insane to me.
Whoa.
I don't know
Yeah, no,
why we would do that to women.
that's insane. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that
That's
like
crazy.
I can't even imagine that. So,
Yeah,
but
I can't imagine.
that's your reality, huh? That's crazy.
That is the reality
I
out there.
like the I like the option of giving people a specific amount of time, like 3 to 4 months, and then being like, "Oh, you could take, half pay for another 2 months or another 3 months," and giving them the option at least,
Yeah,
to
the
have
way it
that
works here
extended
in
time.
Canada is a little bit different. So, not to like the way it works is you get what we call employment insurance, which is around 50,000 a year, which is not exactly as covering your wage that if you're working full time, but definitely helps the family and helps the women to really ease in getting back to work, because even 3 to 4 months, it's crazy to me. Like, I
I
can't see
know.
it. Like, babies at 3 to 4 months are like they're so attached to their mom, and certain situations their dad. So anyways, I hope that changes for the better moving forward, but I wanted to bring it up because I think it's somewhere where the US is lacking. But please don't think that I'm trying to judge or anything that you're doing in the US. I just think it could be better.
Go back. No, I'm just joking. Happy
You can
Thanksgiving,
judge.
by the way.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
happy Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yes, it's exactly the same as the US one. We eat turkey. There's really no difference. The date
Just
is
6 weeks
different, and there's
before.
no football.
You're missing
Just
the best
hockey.
part.
Boring. I'm just kidding. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, Serge.
Bye, Serge. Weatherman out.
Bye.